Busey, thank you. Thank you all for being here. I know you've got a lot of options here, so I really appreciate you coming and spending time and talking with me about the face-off game. So why more than rock, paper, scissors? To me, there's so much more than the initial clamp, jam, or rake that goes into winning a face-off. So it's my aim to discuss with you guys what are those skills and concepts that are necessary that are more than just the initial clamp to win face-offs for your program. But before we do that, I think it's really important to talk about what are your jobs and goals as a face-off man and a face-off unit. For the sake of this presentation, we're going to be talking mostly about these jobs. If you have any questions about how we derive these goals for our program at Providence, I'm happy to talk with you after. But first and foremost, we're talking about win possession for your team. Win possession. Get the ball and get it to the offensive end. Create transition opportunities for our offensive score, and certainly I lean on the defensive end. This is imperative. Stop all transition against. So the majority of this presentation will be about winning possession and how you do that with your face-off unit, face-off men and wing guys included. But certainly we'll touch on, especially with the wing game and wing play, creating transition and stopping all transition against. So what are the skills necessary that you need to do to accomplish those goals and jobs of the face-off unit? Winning possession, creating, and preventing transition. For me, these are the three things that we work on with our face-off unit day in and day out in some capacity. Imperative, ground balls over everything, ground ball ability. Face-off men in particular work on regular grip and motorcycle grip ground balls. The motorcycle grip ground ball has been an evolution that's kind of come out of necessity of the motorcycle grip knee down, face-off technique. Sometimes you don't have a chance to switch grips to pick up the ball. So we practice those. But ground ball, I tell our face-off guys all the time, you lose every single clamp, you pick up 70% of the ground balls, you're an All-American. So we spend a lot of time working on ground balls. I strongly believe that you can develop ground ball hand dexterity. That'll be a really unique part of this presentation, I hope, for you guys to take some things away, and we'll show some film. We'll go over face-off technique for the face-off men, in particular what we focus on and the different moves and the moves within moves. And then we'll also focus on a couple of wing play drills, philosophy, and drills and techniques that we work on there. Points of emphasis within the ground ball game. 2 hands, accelerate through the ball. Accelerate through the ball and contact. Don't slow down for contact. Up is going right up in the air. Another opportunity for the defense to get out of the stick. Certainly we'll work on stick protection as well. And here we go with some film and drills that we use to develop ground ball hand dexterity. 52 pickup. Grandpa asked you want to play a card game? Yeah, Grandpa, what's the name of the game? Card game. 52 pickup. How do you play? That's how you play. Pick up the ball. Here we go. This is an example of no pop-up there. I didn't cradle off the ground. That's a pop-up. That's what we're trying to avoid here. No, that's a pop-up. That's going to be checked. Second chance opportunity for the defense. Here we're working on motorcycle grip ground balls. These are STX, spongy balls we use for goalie play and for 52 pickup. These are taped tennis balls. These are regular tennis balls. These guys are dialed into scooping through. Maybe they're hockeying it. Maybe there's, raking it whack with the scoop. Maybe they're raking it with their sidewall. The object here is to touch one ball at a time, cradle off the ground. One critique of these guys, I'd like them to cradle it up near their chin, protect their stick a little bit better before changing hands to regular grip and dunk it into the bucket. We build up to this. We usually start with regular grip ground balls first and then get going there with motorcycle grips. So that's picking it up off the ground. Crossover dribbles, 2 versions of this. This is simulating catching the ball out of an exit. Maybe you handcuff yourself. It's not perfect ever, all right? But right now, my man's rolling his hands under, bouncing the ball, shortest distance possible, catching the ball. Now he's rolling his hands over. Slight difference. Before he's rolling his hands, his wrists under. Next clip is a little harder. You see how he's rolling his wrists over. The top edge of the sidewall is coming over the top instead of underneath. So that's crossover dribbles, simulating catching different exits, ground balls in the air. Limbo ground balls, getting low underneath this. This is a Gilman sports pad. You hit the limbo stick. You got to do a push-up. 2 hands, cradling the ball off the ground, accelerating through the ball. Don't crow hop underneath the limbo stick. Sink your hips, get low. Now I'll start checking these guys. Cradle it off the ground, accelerate through the check, and accelerate through the ball. A lot of different versions of this here. I'll start using the football pad. I'll get on the other side of them. I'll start lifting them, but this is all in like my Limbo GB's drill bank. Again, I'll hit them on either side, working on cradling off the ground, and eventually work on transferring the ball. I'll smack their stick with the football pad. This is all ground ball. I'll hit them on the other side, in the chest, in the shoulder, in the back. You know, they've got to pick up ground balls under duress, under pressure as a face-off man. GB rollaways, great way to work on separating from pressure and transferring the ball to our offense. What we're focusing on here is once we get the ball and cradle it off the ground, get it up to our chin, getting our hands out to the sideline, away from pressure, away from the defender. Right here, we're working on motorcycle grip ground balls and practicing changing to regular grip to make a pass. My man here's got to work on tucking that stick a little bit better. I don't love that stick protection. Good cradle off the ground. Great job getting his hands away from pressure there. Get your hands to the sideline. Get out with your feet. Transfer the ball. Good job cradling the ball off the ground there through the check. Nice job getting out with his hands to the sideline there. Rebounder ground balls. All right, so we worked on ground balls off the ground. We worked on exit ground balls, you know, with the crossover dribbles. We worked on ground balls away. Now we're working on bouncing balls to pick it up. They throw it off this all-ball pro here. They got to deal with me whacking them with the gladiator stick, and then they got to roll away and throw it to their teammate. Working on clearing their hands, getting away from me, not throwing a turnover pass. I'll get on the other side of these guys. This guy didn't do a great job of accelerating through the ball. I got my butt end on this guy's chest. He doesn't accelerate through it, and he whiffs on it, all right? Accelerate through the ball. Here's a great one that I think goes often overlooked. When you win a face-off back, attackmen they can slide upfield and double team you all the time, you know, without consequence. It's not like defense where you slide upfield, you're giving up a goal. They can double team you. So we work on your reading situations. Like right now, this would be a situation where attackman's flying up to you, and you just got to get the ball to your defender. You got to get the ball to your goalie. It doesn't need to be a perfect pass, all right? But you see me do this. You can bounce pass, you can roll it, just get it there so you can get it into your clear. Last one here with ground ball stuff. This is like close quarters combat. You know, you don't get the face-off exactly you want, but which you often don't. Right now, we're just boxing out. We're sinking our hips bent. We're using our butt. We're using our back. We're using our elbows. We're using the edge of the stick, feeling equal pressure. Right now, this is for push-ups. If this guy doesn't gain position, he's got push-ups. If he gives up position, he's push-ups. And what we're doing here is first whistle is down set whistle. We start. We're trying to maintain position, I should say. And on the second whistle, we kick it to space and go pick it up. Another nuance of the face-off game that's a skill you can develop, I think, is kicking it to space and going to pick it up. This is a good example of box-out drill. This is in our alumni game. I think if this guy was doing some box-out drill and not going to happy hour, he comes up with this, a little 52 pickup, a little bit of a pop-up there, but that's box-out drill in action, okay? Now we'll get into some of the face-off technique stuff. First thing, most important part of facing off, your stance. Your stance. If you're not balanced, and if you're not low, and you're not powerful, I truly don't think anything else matters. You have the drill stance, and it's got to be consistent. One of the biggest things that I tell my guys when they go home for winter break, you have to come back with your stance dialed in. We cannot spend 2 weeks of preseason fixing your stance because you didn't take any face-offs. You didn't get into your stance, okay? For the sake of this presentation, we're going to focus all on knee down motorcycle grip. Knee is down, angled towards the ball. Big focus for me is this foot and this foot are planted. Toe is tucked back here. He's not resting on the top of his foot. That big toe and that foot is planted on the ground, okay? His shoulders are angled towards the ball. You know, this hand should be here to here. You know, I don't overcoach that too much. You gotta do what's comfortable for you. Big thing with this foot, you see this on film from the side view. This foot's got to be wide enough so that on the whistle he doesn't false step out here like a receiver. And on the first whistle, his foot should not end up planted here. Does that make sense? So this foot should be wide enough. When he clamps, his foot should just stay right there. So this is really the rock, paper, scissors paradigm. Clamp is like rock. 95% of people clamp. And we'll go through those moves. Jam can beat a clamp if executed properly. And then certainly a rake can beat a jam by raking underneath a jam. You can beat a rake with a clamp by clamping down the line, and we will show all of that here. So clamp, knee down, motorcycle grip. Biggest thing for me, the clamp. Get down the line with your right hand and into the ball. Down the line, into the ball. Oftentimes to start, we'll put this ball closer to the scoop so that he has to move his hands to the right and clamp into it. All right, left hand's got to be low. If you don't have the win or the advantage in hand speed, all right, you're going to be in a tie-up. So this left hand has got to stay low on the initial clamp. Got to stay low so you can win with leverage. A jam will win against the clamp. I'm sorry? Why do you have a sandbag in front of you? Yeah, great question. We'll get to that with an in and a spin drill. That's for exit purposes, and we'll use that as a reference of where we need to get to our butt end in the second phase of the face-off. So jamming here, all right, the object of a jam is to jam over the ball and in between your opponent's stick to pull the ball out. I think the days of jamming on the initial clamp are kind of behind us. That pains me to say that because I was a jam guy. I jammed 90% of the time when I was in college. But with the new rules, the knee down, the advent of knee down, the advent of motorcycle grip, the clamping coaching is too good at the youth and high school level. I think the jam is more of a counter technique. But you can see there, the perfect jam will end up with the ball right here. All right, so this isn't perfect. You slide your shaft over the ball, and then you pull it out to the side. I don't like going through your legs because oftentimes you roll over the ball. This guy should, to even help him out with that, if he wants to go through his legs, he should flatten out his stick. That way you don't roll over the ball. When your stick is straight up and down like this, the stick head, you'll roll over the ball quite frequently. I like going out to the side like my man does here. You can swing this right foot here and box out your opponent. Now a rake can beat a jam because you can rake underneath the jamming stick. When you rake, certainly this is more of a regular grip, standing neutral grip move, but you can do it motorcycle grip, knee down. But when you rake, you want to pull your left hand, your butt end up to get contact on the sidewall as soon as possible. That way you're trying to rake it down the line or underneath the jamming face-off man. Just like that. That's how that would beat a jam. This is a good look at it. This man's jamming. We'll rewind that real quick. Near man jamming in the light gray is jamming, lifting his stick up. This man rakes right underneath it. Tough to control, but a good quick move. Post whistle counters. This is what I'm talking about with more than rock, paper, scissors. This stuff's really important. The move after the initial move. Whoever does this stuff, who deciphers, who problem solves faster in that face-off tie-up is going to win the face-off more often than not. Re-punch. The best counter to a clamp, in my opinion, is the re-punch or re-clamp. All right, clamp versus clamp. You've got to get down the line. You've got to drive your butt end to help wiggle your top edge underneath your opponent's stick. And what's often lost in these face-off guys, because they're doing a lot of different stuff, you got to actually clamp over the ball. You have to crush your top edge down. We'll go through the re-jam with film and the rake and hook as well. The re-jam is when maybe you've lost the initial whistle. You can't really re-clamp because he's got so much of the ball, but your hand is in a position where you can slide your shaft underneath your opponent's stick and get in between the ball and his stick. Here we go, counters, clamp down the line. This is what I'm talking about by clamping down the line. You push to the right there, and the skinnier part of your throat of your stick slides underneath the skinnier part, the top sidewall of your opponent's. That's why the big thing for me is low and explode down the line on your initial clamp here. You see that click, that sidewall clicks there, right underneath this top edge, right there, by sliding down the line on your initial clamp. You're tied up, you've got to be thinking into the ball, down the line. That's what I mean by clamping down the line. So certainly in a clamp versus clamp scenario, that'll help you win tie-ups, and this is what clamping down the line helps you for countering when somebody's raking against you. They try to rake it underneath, you get down the line, it won't end up in your sweet spot, but you protect it. Now you're able to exit anywhere you need. Some good film of a rejam. Again, I think that the days of initially rejamming are more difficult, certainly at the college level. You could probably get away with it at the high school level if you've got a guy that's really tough and athletic and really good at it. But I think that the rejam is what comes more into play at the college level. You see here, this is me with no glove. I'm beat off the clamp. The opponent's got me on the whistle. He's got 80% of the ball, but my right hand still has leverage underneath the top of his scoop. This is a good time to rejam. I'm just wiggling my fingers here for emphasis for the video. I'm not encouraging these face-off guys to do that. This is totally legal. Your hand is clamped around, or you're wrapped around the shaft of the stick. And because I've got that leverage, you slide your hands over the ball and underneath your opponent's stick to rejam. Couple reps of this.
Quick question. If your guys are, if you find your guys rejamming a lot?
Not a ton.
And when they do, are you seeing that call possibly as like a shaft over the opponent's head of the stick?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think the way the game is officiated now, again, is one of those reasons why I think it certainly lends itself to not initially jamming. But I do think there's a time and a place, and this is the read. This is definitely the read that I'm looking for. And it's got to be perfect to end up with the ball to the left of your right hand. But absolutely, if you end up on top of the stick, that's going to be a hold. That's going to be a hold, absolutely. And certainly, one of my frustrations is when you see a perfectly executed rejam and it gets called as a hold. That's frustrating. But I have conversations with my guys about that, and we have conversations with the officials to ask them what they're looking at in the pregame meeting, quite honestly. But yeah, big concern there. Couple good looks at some rejams in practice. Here, 39 and White, he's got this clamped. I would say he needs to get his butt end over this to help him get his top edge over the ball, crush his clamp down. Black face-off man here doesn't have that clamp. Gets the ball out. Another reason why I don't love going through legs, you don't often know what's behind you. Not great wing play. We'll get into that in a little bit. Here's another. This is a live face-off during group work here. Great view of it. Great view of it. This is from like my first fall at Providence. Right now, this man has got the ball 80% clamped. He kind of overshot the ball going down the line, but his right hand is wrapped around his shaft underneath the head of the stick. Great job sliding down the line over the ball, rejam. Great read there. Rake and hook. Rake and hook can come through as an initial move, or it can come through out of you initially clamped. You think you might have enough of it. You try to rake it out. You don't get it. You hook underneath. Another point where you got to think about how the game is being officiated, where you're hooking, right? Which would be a point that we'll talk about. I think, some of these guys in this film are not hooking in the right place. I'm advising now, especially with the rules emphasis the other night, I think you got to hook for right here, right under the scoop of your opponent's stick. I think if you come under here, there's some gray area for the officials to call that of hooking the wrist of your opponent, which could be called. That remains to be determined. You'll see in these videos, a lot of times we're hooking here, and we'll see if we have to adjust. That's raking it out on initial and then hooking through. What you're trying to do here is to disrupt your opponent's clamp where he's exiting to and creating a 50-50 ground ball to allow for your wings to fight for you. I'm starting these guys in a tie-up here. So simulating like you've clamped. Maybe you have enough of the ball to try to squeak it out in this area, or you don't think you're going up against a bigger and stronger guy. You don't feel confident in winning in a long, extended tie-up. So we try to rake it out as fast as you can. You don't get it. Hook underneath the stick. And again, we should be aiming for the head of the stick, the scoop of the stick to lift him up off the ball. You can't get under the elbow anymore. You can't get under the wrist. You should be going for the shaft or the scoop. Beat off the whistle here. Fails. Doesn't really do a good job raking to get that out. Hook. Again, that's going to be a hold call. That's going to be a hold under the elbow. Not great execution, but good read, and that right there is the reason why you hook. You disrupt the exit of your opponent's face-off. Exits, forward, defensive, backdoor, and dekes. The biggest thing for guys at the youth and high school level for me, exiting full speed with your feet and cradling through possession. A lot of these guys are cradling in tight space or facing off in tight spaces, exiting in tight spaces, and trying to get back to the line as fast as you can. They clamp, they exit, they're catching it one-handed, and then they get back to the line. Okay, that creates bad habits on your exit technique. You handcuff yourself and you're going to get caught. You're simply going to get caught. So that's one thing that's big for us. Sandbag is here for what we call an in and spin drill, getting into the ball and then getting our butt end to 12 o'clock. But for right now, we'll just work on the exits. Forward exit, big thing for me. Once you're low into the ball, hands are scraping the turf. Once you're ready to exit, that's when you pull the left hand up. Heavy right hand pressure. Lock the ball in between the sidewalls of the stick. Drag it out and around. Lead yourself to run through the ball. Handcuffs himself there. Doesn't do a great job of getting out and around. That's what I'm talking about. Exit full speed. Out and around. Again, another handcuff there. Something we work on. I call these carousel exits. The name kind of derived from putting 4 guys around in your face-off unit, and they just go around the face-off, the soccer goalpost. Out and around, and then they go to the next goalpost, working to get out and around. You can do this on the corner of a wall. It doesn't have to be a soccer goal. But these guys are going butt end to the sky on the initial clamp, which I don't love initially here. But on the exits, they're working on dragging it out and around the goalpost. Defensive exit, when somebody's taking away the forward exit, same thing, into the ball, low left hand. When you're reverse pivoting here, drop stepping, scrape your knuckles, all right? You're not giving anything, any target for your opponents to rake, to hook under your shaft. Now you get heavy right hand pressure, you pinch it up and out. Again, this guy should lead himself a little bit more, but you're using your back to protect your stick and protect the ball from your opponent chasing you out of the face-off. Backdoor exits or right shoulder exits. Everybody's got a different name for this. Defensive exits would be left shoulder exits, right shoulder exits. This is an opportunity to backdoor. Say you're going against somebody who's chasing your butt end. Maybe you've de-exited a couple of times. They start chasing your butt end. All right, now you go backdoor. What's cool about the backdoor exit is that it also puts you in great position to box out your stick. You get to here, you take one more step, you pinch your left hand up to your armpit, and you're out, and you're completely protected. Completely protected. Deke, this is something we've come up with. A couple guys started doing it to us, so we started practicing it. Fake one way, go another. You got to worry about withholding call if you're down there too long with the clamp one. So one deke and get out. This is an example of screw drill here. First whistle, downset whistle, they're screwing, and then second whistle, they fake one way, defensive, and then go back door, out the front. Screw drill, first whistle, pump fake, out the other way. So those are 4 different types of exits we work on, and also we'll go into when to use each here. So these are some drills that we work on to develop all those things. I just want to start with the baseline of terminology. Down ups. We'll start this every day with down ups. Getting into your stance. We're not doing anything else. Getting into the consistent stance. I'm just saying down, up, down, knee down, angle towards the ball. I think this left foot could be a little wider. I think these guys could be hip angled towards the ball more. Again, this is like film from 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago or so. I think they're a little bit high, a little bit come back. This guy's got to work on widening out his left foot and angling his hips towards the ball more. His hips are upfield a little bit. Whistle reactions. Whistle reactions is pretty cool. We don't worry about technique here as much. First time down, it's down set whistle. Get into your stance. You got to get comfortable there. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed here. You take away one sense to heighten another. I firmly believe that. We work on developing our hand speed and our whistle reaction time. Set, whistle. Again, audio is not working up here, so I apologize for that, but another whistle's coming. They just have to react to that front end of the whistle. Reset quickly, eyes are closed, really honing in on that auditory cue of reacting to the whistle. I'm not concerned about getting into the ball as much here. I'm just working on that front end of the whistle, getting that top edge down, reacting to the ball. Low and explode, this really works on getting down the line and into the ball in the clamp. Just put the ball towards the top of the scoop, Guys are a little high here in their stance, but really just working on getting into the ball, and we build it up piecewise. Part hold method, we'll get in, and then we'll start spinning. Then we'll do screw drill, and then we'll do exit drills. We're using the rep straps here. Great tool to keep your momentum going towards the ball and not spinning yourself away from the ball or outside your butt end. In and spin is big for me. It's like simultaneous. You get into the ball, and then your next move should be punching your hand to this sandbag. That's why it's there. The sandbag is ideal. We kind of borrow these from our soccer program. The filled with sand, they're about 6 inches high. Great, because if you go to spin and your left hand is up, you're going to slide right past it. All right, so it's a great size. I think they're made by Quick Goal. Really good tool for us. Into the ball, and there's no double whistle here. This is the first whistle, it's punch, punch. Sometimes we call it double punch drill. And it's got to happen fast. Got to happen fast. This is a great way to do 2 guys go in at once with the mechanic of the referee. They're facing opposite ways. Again, these guys have the rep strap on. We'll use these sometimes, especially early in the fall, to get them going and get their momentum going towards the ball. Read drill. You're reading your face-off man. I've got 2 different read drills. One's reading the face-off man. The other's reading the wing space. This is read drill. One guy's the dummy. One guy's live face-offs. On the whistle, he clamps and reads what I'm doing or reads what the dummy's doing. If I go forward this way, he goes forward. If I step halfway down the line, that's a defensive exit. If I'm chasing his butt end, that's a backdoor exit. Now we get a couple live here. Good read, good read. I stepped halfway down the line. That's the best way to protect the ball in your exit when you win the clamp. I'm chasing his butt end, backdoor. Great. Screw drill is a way to work on momentum in a tie-up going towards the ball. You know, you want to keep your feet inside your butt end as best as possible. Otherwise, your momentum's going to screw yourself off the ball. And then I'm here with the gladiator stick, trying to make him read a face. Again, it's like screw drill plus read drill here. Good defensive exit there. Tie-up drill, one guy's live, the other, we're starting half clamped over the ball, one guy's live, one guy's a dummy. This is helping these guys work on, I know Greg Gorenlian talks about sawing down. This is what I call crushing the top edge. Really works on crushing the top edge down over the ball. One hard punch, I'll mix up where the dummies, how far his butt end is, just to put them in different clamp situations, giving them a framework to problem solve down there in tie-ups. Certainly they can exit out of there different ways. Four-point stance tie-ups. This is more of like a live drill. Both guys are spinning. You should look like a D tackle in here in a 4-point football stance. Feet underneath you, flat back, low left hand. Once I blow the whistle here, this is live between the 2 face-off guys, trying to figure out, do they need to rejam? Do they need to punch down the line? Do they need to punch their butt end? Do they need to rake and hook? I'll mess with the face-off men here and make one guy have 80% of the ball, the other guy have 20% of the ball. Mix it up so that they've got to actively it's not the same thing twice, and it's never like if this then do that. You got to figure it out and give them a framework with all these drills of how to get out of there with the ball. Here we go, Medusa drill. This is when you're reading wing space in a long tie-up. Face-off unit. Medusa drill, you got three-headed snake here, around surrounding a guy doing screw drill, taking away lanes for him. Second whistle, he's got to find space to exit. Give him a little love, make sure he's getting a tough ground ball, catching the ball under pressure. Great drill, preparing for wing units that have like dynamic poles that are great at hunting the ball. You got to find space and get it out of there quickly. Wing play. Iconic wing play moment here. Top Gun, X-Man telling Maverick that he can be his wingman anytime. A lot of trust in the wing unit. A lot of trust. What's your philosophy? If you've got a dynamic face-off man who comes out of every tie-up with the ball, your wing play philosophy should probably be box out over everything. I've had some conversation with guys recently about that. At the high school level, maybe that's the case, so you could do that. At the college level, I think you've got to have certain things in place. For us, certainly our philosophy, the ideal world is give the face-off man time and room to pick up the ground ball. How do you do that? For me, the butt end or the draw side is where you want to position your wing on that side to be best between his man and the ball based on where your face-off man is putting it, because the draw side is the easiest place to put it. On your head side, you're positioned to box out based on where your opponent is most likely to put it. In a general philosophical sense, okay, you always want to have at least one man on the defensive half protecting transition. That's just my personal philosophy. Technique, how do you do that? Inside foot is back. We're bent like wide receivers. We're trying to the three biggest things here for us, we're trying to box out on the wings. We're trying to mirror our opponent, we're mirroring our opposite wingman, our teammate, and we're trying to maintain depth. We're not trying to get buried on top of the face-off X. Communication phases, pre-whistle, post-whistle, and then pre-whistle, quick draw, or tie-up scenarios in wing play. You got to give your guys a framework to communicate. All right, whether you use a clock system, whether you use a quadrant system, whether you use color system. Face-off man should be the guy talking to his wing units. Whether you're walking out to the face-off X or you see a new face-off guy come out, you're talking, hey, I know I could beat him here. If you're using the quadrant system, your face-off guy says 4, 4, 4. You're probably boxing out and hip to hip somewhere over here if he follows with you. Likewise, he could say 10, if you're using the clock system, you could say 10, 10, 10. Maybe you're over here because he's trying to put it forward. That's pre-whistle, face-off man talking. The wing shouldn't be telling the face-off man where to go. The face-off man knows that craft. Okay? Wing guys, if you're talking pre-whistle, I think they're telling them one thing, and it's if nobody's covering you. Hey, I'm open. Or maybe you have a call for that. And then maybe you have a call if last second you get covered. You have another call to talk to the face-off man when he's down in his stance. This is what the concept of mirroring. All right, you get in, quick draw. Your idea is to protect your face-off man. He wins the draw. Quick draw, you're protecting him. You're boxing out. Your inside foot's back. You step in front of your opponent, and you're off to the races, hopefully. If it's an extended tie-up, now we're talking about mirroring each other. If this man goes this way, this short stick would then mirror him and be opposite. You never want to end up with both guys on the midline because then you're open both sides of the field. So at times, to keep the defensive half covered, you may stop boxing out because you got to protect against transition. So that's something that we drill. Mirror drill and 3-on-3 short field to one shot. Mirror drill here, I set up these cones for these guys to maintain depth. I've got two face-off guys going with a ball each. Okay, one of them puts the ball out here on a second whistle, and you'll see they're working on mirroring each other, maintaining depth, and picking up ground balls. 44 is supposed to mirror this guy. The face-off guys put the ball out a little quickly there, but this is all good practice for developing, bent, inside foot back, breaking in on a 45-degree angle, boxing each other out, mirroring your opposite wing here. Ball comes out, go get it. Go get a contested ground ball. Sometimes the wing guys can get a little stagnant in this because they're like, oh, well, if I'm here and I'm here, we're mirrored, right? So, you got to get a coach pointing for one guy to go. This is a good look at not boxing out to give up a defensive, a fast break over here. This guy does a good job staying in the defensive half. In this particular instance, we lose possession there on that one, but at least you don't give up a fast break. You can do this without face-off guys. I'll point to one side, go one way, then the other side mirrors. Roll the ball out. Good stuff. 3-on-3 short field to one shot. We've got small box goals on each restraining line. Rules of this drill, face-off men are not winning it to themselves. This is a live face-off. They're not winning it to themselves. They're putting it out. This is just a live face-off here. All the mirror rules apply. But now we're really focused on keeping the defensive end covered, but also creating transition. You're also focusing on not sliding upfield because there's no goalies in the net. And if you slide upfield, it's going to be a dunk. So there's some good clips here to show that. Good mirror technique. Face-off guy takes, lazy false step upfield, to a guy that he really wasn't going to create a turnover for. And now it's a dunk. So that's something we'll stop and talk about. We'll show that on film, talking about, what it is to slide upfield. Sliding upfield might not be a full slide to go double the ball. Slide upfield could be one false step and you're screwed over the top. Good talk there by number 8. Communicate with his wing. What I don't like here is he's not maintaining depth. My man in black pins him. Ball goes out. Beats him to a ground ball. We certainly play this out to a 3-on-3, but at this point, what you've accomplished what you want to accomplish in the drill, but we let them have fun with it. We compete for goals, for points, and whatnot. Let's get to some live wing play here. I'll cut to some wing play and some matchup stuff. I know that's, I've gotten some feedback from guys who want to see that. We've got about 8 minutes left here. But some different phases of wing play. Again, back to our alumni game. Wing play wasn't really a strong suit for us on this day. Quick draw, we win the clamp forward. No box out. Our face-off guy is getting mauled here by the alums. That's bad quick draw wing play. Another one, no box out, clean win. This should be a clean win, off to the races for a fast break. Here we're playing Georgetown. Good look at number 9. Certainly we're not doing a good job maintaining depth here, but we're trying to box out. But number 9 is doing a good job of protecting the defensive half here. Good job by the attack showing up, and good job by number 17 showing up. That could be a potential GB roll-away situation there at the edge of the box.
Is that number 9 too close, though, to the face on that?
Yeah, I would say that he's not doing a good job maintaining depth there. If the ball squirts out past him, he's gonna be at a disadvantage.
How much depth are you looking for?
The cones in the previous mirror drill is what we're looking at to keep those guys mirror. They're supposed to stay around the perimeter of those cones of that circle.
5 yards.
I would use this G as a good, off the G. Right. Stay off the G. You shouldn't be much inside the soccer circle. Great wing play here. Check this out on the far wing. Good look at a clamp down the line against the rake. Number 9 here, but that's a box out drill right there. Nice job. And then this is ground ball roll away. Ground ball roll away right here to a wing showing up for his teammate. That's really nice wing play there. I'm going to fast through most of this face-off, really long face-off. Again, against Georgetown, but to your point, number 9 had a tendency of doing this. Graduated for us. 9's burying himself. He's getting pinned out of this long tie-up, big momentum changer. Again, we're down there. We're buried right now. We're not doing a good job of maintaining depth. And you see when the ball goes out, we're pinned, and Georgetown beats us to the ball. So that's why you maintain depth as best you can. Some face-off matchup analysis, going against hard clampers or going against quick spinners. Number 2 here in white does a really good job of getting into the ball. Really good job of getting into the ball. And you'll see us here. We're right on the whistle with them. Right on the whistle. Right here, we're doing too much spinning and not enough into the ball. Right here, we've spun ourselves off the ball. The ball is in the throat of White's stick. He doesn't exit out and around with it, but right there, we spun ourselves off the ball. So against somebody who's going into the ball and not spinning as much, you've got to be really cognizant of not spinning yourself off the ball. And if you are spinning, it's in an effort to get your top edge underneath your opponent's stick and into the ball. If you're just spinning just to spin, rotate your stick head off of the ball. A good example of that here. Again, 39. Right there, Georgetown's got it. We just spun ourselves off the ball. Really good job by 17. This is his man keeping the defensive half covered in wing play. Keeping the defensive half covered, no fast break there. No fast break, even though we lost the faceoff. Here, the face-off man in black, although he's rotating, he's into the ball, and he's more, wiggling his butt end back and forth to get his top edge, his top sidewall rail underneath the stick of Georgetown. Right there, he crushes it down. Big time wing play here from number 7. Another senior for us, doing a great job all the way through the completion of the ground ball. One of the best wing play clips I can show you guys. This is against the guy who's more of a quick butt end, not worried about getting into it as much. He's more about this player in white from Drexel, going butt end to 12 o'clock here. See the different styles? More of a long tie-up with the Georgetown matchup. This is more of a quick spin matchup. Against a quick spinner, you're more apt to spin, but you still have to get into the ball. Still have to get down the line and into the ball. Here, our face-off man in black does that. Good job of walling him off just enough on the wing there, number 9. 2 more clips here, men. Here, Drexel's man totally beats us to the clamp. So we try to follow through with a rake and a hook. Don't quite get it, but that's a good look of an application of when you would rake and hook if you're beat to the ball. You might think about against a quick spinner getting the ball out quicker. This wasn't something that we practiced. This is something that our guy just, if you got the ball, go. There's no sense in spinning just to spin. If you've got the ball, get it out. Quick clamp and out. That would be a situation where if he didn't get that ball out, he'd probably follow through with a hook. That's like the rake and hook option as well. 14 doing a good job boxing out there on the wing. Quick face-off head discussion. I got to give it a couple minutes, and I'll ask for some questions. This is not like an endorsement or an indictment on any of these heads. These are all heads that, we're Nike and STX schools, so we love those heads. But these are just strengths and weaknesses. I think the CEO is really good at getting underneath guys' heads. I think the durability is, they break a lot. But I do think it's really good at getting underneath the head. The head folds back at the top, at the head, not at the throat, but at the scoop. That can be negative. You can get pushed off the ball that way, but it also, even though that happens, because of the skinny throat of the stick and the flex point, it still allows you to clamp the ball even though your head is bent back in half. STX dual, really sturdy, really durable, stiff flex point, so you need heavy pressure when you're exiting with the ball, susceptible to leaving it there. But it does not fold back in a tie-up. If you're going to get in tie-ups a lot, you're a big, strong guy, and you can push people off the ball. I think the STX dual is a really nice head. And then the String King Mark IIF, just from talking with guys around the country and our face-off guys, they think it's kind of like a combination of these 2 heads. It's got a good flex point, really good for exits. Once you get it into the sweet spot of the throw of the stick, really nice. It stays there, and you can exit with that nicely. It is a little bit more flexible. The top half folds back a little bit, but it's certainly more stiff and more durable, I think. It doesn't break as much as the CEO. Again, I love the CEO. The durability is they break a lot. That's just the way it is. But all of our guys are using the CEO and the dual and the String King Mark IIF. So hopefully for you high school guys, that's a helpful thing on the head discussion. And so thankful for the opportunity. Thank you for spending some time with me. Thank you so much. Busey, thank you. Thank you all for being here. I know you've got a lot of options here, so I really appreciate you coming and spending time and talking with me about the face-off game. So